This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Tuesday, the 23rd day of November in the year 2021. I'm Gordon Mosley. Here's what we're tracking tonight. The Alliance for Change, which is part of the APNU-AFC opposition coalition, today knocked the government as heartless towards public servants with that imposition of a 7% salary increase for the past 2 years. During a press conference today, AFC executive and Member of Parliament Cathy Hughes said the government was keen in its move not to engage the Public Service Union because it was aware that the union would reject an increase that is less than the inflation rate. Hughes also observed that a decision by the government to make the 7% increase across the board creates an uneven system where those at the higher end of the pay scale stand to benefit, while low-income earners will not see any real benefit from the increase. Low-income earners are set to receive an average increase of $4,900 to their salaries after taxes are deducted. The opposition Member of Parliament said with the current increase in the cost of living, the increase will be ineffective for many. MPUs reminded that the minimum wage saw an increase of over 70% over a 4-year period under the coalition government. The Guyana Public Service Union and the Guyana Teachers Union have both rejected the imposition of the salary increase, demanding that a better increase be given. The government has not responded to any of the chatter from the two unions. More news coming up in just a moment.
I'm feeling it! You know it? That Christmassy feeling? Friend, I'm ready for everything. All the decorations and lights. Bring on all the Christmas goodness. And I heard GTT is giving away millions in cash and prizes for the season. It just doesn't get any better. Multiple draws, multiple chances to win, live radio giveaways of cash, grocery vouchers, phone credit, and more. Free data, free calls, and free accessories with the purchase of every handset. Sign up, top up, pay any GTT bill or purchase a handset to get a chance to celebrate with GTT and MMG. Together we celebrate, together we win. GTT, together we rise.
The light on your face, no mask will hide.
Feel the joy burn deep inside.
Let's have a great Christmas this year.
You, me, and Republic Bank, my dear.
Whatever you need, light up your Christmas with Republic Bank and get a chance to win $825,000 in cash prizes. Plus, get a chance to give a family a Christmas hamper in your name. Log on to republicguyana.com for more details. Let's light up Christmas.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
We've got exciting news! All 12-ounce yellow cab Buster are now only $100. Buster, live in
Come
full
get your
color.
Buster $100. Come get your Buster $100.
For too long, Guyanese have been left behind. For too long, the small man couldn't get up. Well, things are about to change. Something is coming, and it's big. And I'm not talking about the oil. Something that should have happened a long time ago, and it's finally here. FIZURO. Follow us on Facebook and join the revelation on November 28th.
Mobile Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc. Mobile Delvac and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Salt Guyana Inc.
Let GBTI make your dreams of owning a home a reality. Buy or build your home with us. Let us help you to completely outfit your home and make it move-in ready. Need to purchase land? We finance that too. Benefit from our 10% down payment and interest rates as low as 4.25%. Calculated on the reducing balance with up to 30 years to repay. Switch your mortgage to us and learn about benefiting from the equity in your home. Invest wisely. Apply online or call your branch to schedule an appointment. GBTI, we see Guyana through your eyes.
President Irfan Ali has urged large-scale contractors not to bid for small regional projects, explaining that such a move would not only deprive small-scale contractors of those contracts, but would also have an impact on the business model of large-scale operations. The president said while he has no problem with contractors having multiple contracts, he has an issue with there being a lack of understanding that contracts have to be done simultaneously, and the allocation of resources, allocation of material, human, financial, and material resources are important.
And if you are a tier 1 contractor and you want to spend the time to allocate resources on a $5 million project, you will bust. Not burst, you will bust. You will not be able to efficiently implement or achieve your outcome.
The president also urged contractors to increase their human resources and machinery capacities, noting that some contractors have been working without an engineer on site, despite having them listed as personnel on those bid documents. This, the president said, will be addressed with a new contract and with a clause that will now recognize the qualification of someone who can sign off on the job.
If you're playing at a certain level, you have to be willing to make the investment to allow you to be competitive and efficient at that level. You have to get the tower lights. We have duty on tower lights. I will check if we have duty on tower lights, and maybe we'll allow you a period to bring in all your tower lights duty free, if there is duty. We have duty? Okay. So let's discuss that. This is where the country is heading. You have to work in the night. You have to build your night capacity. Otherwise, you will fail.
And President Ali also told the contractors that the quality of the projects will be comprehensively spelled out in the bid documents, and that there will be a clause of what is the contractor's responsibility for a specified time. He said that this is necessary for clarity moving forward. The president noted it is important for contractors to correct their shortcomings if they are to be considered for future projects. President Ali's meeting with the contractors yesterday came on the heels of his government coming in for harsh criticism over the issuance of several large-scale contracts over the past few months. Eyes on the PNC Congress tonight, hitting the campaign trail to boost her run for chairman of the People's National Congress Reform. Attorney and Member of Parliament Amanda Walton Desir visited the Buxton community on Sunday, where she spoke about the importance of the upcoming PNC Reform Congress. The opposition spokesperson on Foreign Affairs is a first-time member of Parliament, and her run for the chairmanship of the PNC is also her maiden voyage as a candidate in the party's elections. But Walton Desir is seen as a rising star in the party and local politics. Already there is talk among political watchers of her being a possible presidential candidate at the next national elections. For now, the attorney is focused on making the case to be elected to the chairmanship position in the People's National Congress, which is the second highest position in the 64-year-old political organization. During her presentation at the Buxton event, Walton Desir spoke about the founding principles of the PNC reform and the need for the party to return to those principles and elevate itself into a more prominent national position. She said the upcoming Congress and elections will be key to the party's future.
Our dear land of Guyana, and indeed our great party, we stand at a crossroad. And the decisions that we make at the upcoming 21st Biennial Delegates Congress will not only determine the future of the party, but the future of our nation. Because I have always maintained, as goes the PNCR, goes the nation. Now, it is not an exaggeration to say that all eyes are upon us. It is therefore vitally important, comrades, that we demonstrate prudence and civility whilst we participate in this democratic process that is our Congress. The democratic election of a leadership team is not something about which our political opponents can boast. And therefore, whilst we participate in this process, we must, I urge you, operate with prudence and with civility.
The candidate also said the party is in need of youthful and energetic leadership.
Now more than ever, the PNCR needs youthful, energetic, courageous women and men with vision, integrity, empathy, and dedication to step up and to step forward and to work shoulder to shoulder with our elders to usher our party into this great new day.
Walton Desir believes that she is being called to leadership, and it is a call that she must and will answer. She said that there will be a need for the revitalization of sectoral committees within the party, and it is an area that she plans to focus on.
And in order to function efficiently and effectively, it is imperative that the Central Executive Committee adopt a new governance paradigm. The revitalization, for example, of sectoral committees to develop and refine party policy on the pressing developmental issues of our time is a matter of urgency. Internationally, we must seek to reinvigorate and, where necessary, rekindle the relationships that we have enjoyed with our allies. The reactivation of, for example, the International Relations Committee is an important first step in this regard. Further, I must point out that the continuous engagement of the diplomatic corps will only redound to our advantage. We have to keep them apprised and informed of our positions on the current issues. We will only be better off for this, brothers and sisters.
According to the Member of Parliament, it will also be important to reinvigorate the party groups across the country so that they can serve as viable political and economic units for party members. She said it remains important to stay connected to the grassroots of the party and harness the energy of that party base into constructive endeavors.
There is no alternative to organizing, mobilizing, and educating the people. And so from the level of the party groups, this has to be the paradigm that we will embrace.
Throughout her speech, Walton Desir said the party needs to refocus on the youths in the party and the youths across Guyana, reminding her guests that Guyana's population is made up of mostly young people. The elections of the People's National Congress are set to take place on the 11th of December. A total of 16 party members have been nominated for the position of party chairman. Walton Desir intends to take her Conversations campaign across the country in the lead-up to the elections. Health matters to report now. While the country continues to see a decline in new and active COVID-19 cases, which health officials believe is as a result of the vaccination campaign, there is still some concern that the country can regress as a result of vaccine hesitancy in some areas. Health authorities are particularly worried about the situation in regions 2, 8, and 10, which account for relatively low vaccination rates. The Minister of Health, Dr. Frank Anthony, today said the authorities now have to be on the lookout for cases from those regions because it is expected that some of the cases might be of the more severe form of the virus.
In the areas where we have a lot of people still remain unvaccinated, unfortunately, we are going to have more cases. And some of those cases are going to be severe and would require hospitalization.
While Region 3 now continues to record the highest number of cases and currently has the highest number of active cases, there is a worrying trend in some communities in the regions where there is a low vaccination rate. In some regions, like Regions 4 and 6, where the vaccination rate is relatively high, some communities are still seeing a high number of cases. The health minister is warning that the situation could become even more complicated.
And if people remain unvaccinated, some of them would die. So to prevent all of that, it's basically to go and get vaccinated.
There are currently 1,836 active cases of COVID-19 across the country, with an additional 95 cases recorded in the past 24 hours. 58 persons are now hospitalized across Guyana, with 9 of those persons in the COVID-19 intensive care unit at Lilienthal. Let's tell you now that Guyanese businessman Gali Khan, who surrendered to U.S. law enforcement last year after being underrun from U.S. authorities for more than a decade, has been sentenced to 9 years in jail for jumping his original bail and cocaine trafficking. Ghali Khan, who made a surprise decision to return to the U.S. last year and surrender to face the drug trafficking and other charges, was expecting a lighter sentence after cooperating with U.S. investigators. However, when he appeared in court for his sentencing recently, he was slapped with a 6-year jail sentence for skipping bail on the original drug charge and handed an additional 3-year sentence for the drug trafficking charges that he was facing. Khan was arrested and charged in New York for drug trafficking back in 2008. However, after he was granted bail on the charge, he made a dash to his homeland of Guyana, where he remained until March of 2020. During his time back here in Guyana, Khan got into several businesses and even established a security company that landed government contracts, although he was a known U.S. fugitive. Khan also landed a senior position on the Security Companies Association and the Private Sector Commission, and was also a local observer for last year's elections. Just after the elections, he boarded a flight to New York and surrendered to the U.S. authorities at the JFK airport. He cooperated with law enforcement on the drug trafficking charges and investigations and was expecting a lighter sentence. His attorneys have indicated that they plan to appeal the 9-year jail sentence. In the courts, the driver of that Canter truck which veered out of its lane and collided head-on with a car, killing a pregnant woman and her husband, was charged with causing the death of the 2 persons by dangerous driving. 50-year-old Carl Craig of Public Road Susdyke appeared before Principal Magistrate Judy Latchman at the Diamond Magistrates Court on Monday to face the causing death charges. The court was told that on the 18th of November at Caledonia Public Road on the east bank of the Marara, Craig drove his motor lorry GWW 4922 in a manner dangerous to the public, thereby causing the death of 42-year-old Lloyd Valsin and his pregnant wife, 31-year-old Alyssa Valsin. Craig pleaded not guilty to the charges and was granted bail in the sum of $1 million on the 2 charges. He is expected back in court on the 15th of December. The tragic death of the Linden couple has thrown the community into mourning. The 2 were heading home to Linden when the Canter truck suddenly crossed over into their lane. Along with a passenger who was in the back seat of the car, the husband and the wife were taken to the Diamond Hospital. While the passenger survived their injuries, the couple passed away at the hospital, leaving their families shattered. The truck driver did not sustain any injury. Mobile Special and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Sol Guyana Inc. Mobile Special and all other mobile lubricants are distributed by Sol Guyana Inc.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
We've got exciting news! All 12-ounce yellow cab Buster are now only $100. Buster, live in
Come
full
get
color.
your Buster, Buster $100. Come get your Buster, Buster $100.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right. Walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong. Be the one to live right.
I'm feeling it! You know it? That Christmassy feeling? Friend, I'm ready for everything! All the decorations and lights. Bring on all the Christmas goodness! And I heard GTT is giving away millions in cash and prizes for the season. It just doesn't get any better. Multiple draws, multiple chances to win, live radio giveaways of cash, grocery vouchers, phone credit, and more. Free data, free calls, and free accessories with the purchase of every handset. Sign up, top up, pay any GTT bill, or purchase a handset to get a chance to celebrate with GTT and MMG. Together we celebrate, together we win. GTT, together we rise.
Fuel it up and drive, super 95. Tune up, fuel it
Gioil's Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guyana's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Across the region tonight, the Caribbean Media Corporation reports that Prime Minister Gaston Brown has told former employees of the cash-strapped regional airline Liat that they have a choice to either accept or reject the compassionate settlement his administration has offered to them, and he says he sees no reason for further talks on the matter. The Prime Minister said that his government does not need to meet with the workers to determine the amount of the compassionate payment. He said it is not a matter for negotiation. He said they simply have two choices: accept or reject the offer, noting that at the end of the day, the government of Antigua and Barbuda has no legal liability to the staff of Liat. Earlier, the president of the Leeward Islands Air Pilots Association, Patterson Thompson, had called for the meeting with the government of Antigua and Barbuda to clarify what he said were concerns relating to the various offers that have been placed on the table for severance. In a letter to his members, Thompson acknowledged receiving official correspondence from the cabinet secretary in Antigua detailing the government's position on the compassionate payout. He said the organization intends to call a general meeting next week, but no date has yet been confirmed. But Prime Minister Gaston Brown told radio listeners over the weekend that while he had during a meeting with the organization indicated his willingness to pay 50% of the full staff liabilities, cabinet decided against his recommendation and capped it at 50% of the severance. Former Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Sir James Mitchell, has died. The former Vincentian Prime Minister died at age 90 at his home in Mount Pleasant on the 23rd of November, surrounded by family and friends, the government there has announced. Mitchell, who governed the Eastern Caribbean island from 1984 to 2000, fell ill on the 31st of October and was rushed to the mainland of St. Vincent for urgent medical care. Sir James was treated for an infection upon hospitalization at the Memorial Hospital and was battling multiple medical conditions, including gallstone, kidney failure, and an enlarged prostate. He was later diagnosed with dengue fever. The 90-year-old former leader was flown to Barbados for advanced medical treatment in early November. On the 18th of November, Sir James was discharged from the Queen Elizabeth Hospital in Barbados and placed in 24-hour nursing care at home. The government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines has announced national mourning. And finally tonight, international news. At least 46 people, including 12 children, died when a bus crashed and caught fire in western Bulgaria. The BBC reports that the bus was registered in North Macedonia, and most of those on board were tourists returning from a trip to Istanbul in Turkey. It rammed the crash barrier on a motorway southwest of the capital at around 2 o'clock in the morning. 7 people escaped from the bus and were taken to the hospital with burns. 4-year-old twins were among those killed in the crash, reports the BBC. Bulgaria's Interior Minister Boyar Rachkov visited the terrifying scene and said the survivors had been badly burned. The cause of the disaster was not immediately clear. Bulgarian officials described how the bus swerved off the motorway and tore away a 50-meter section of the crash barrier, but it was unclear if that was before or after it caught fire. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley, reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.